Great. And I'll accept everyone. That are 9 people. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Let's just wait a couple of minutes for everyone to join, and then we will start.
Mid-geek. Hello, everyone. This is the uncomfortable 3 minutes where it's silence. Everyone is in the room, and there's always silence. I don't know if we have seen each other in previous DigiSkills, but welcome again to the ones who were there in the, I think it was in July, or I can't remember anymore, like before the summer break. Welcome to the ones who are new. We're just waiting a couple of minutes to see if more people, the 5-minute leeway for people to enter before starting. So while we wait, I would ask you if you're visible for like 1 minute to turn on your camera so that I can see you, and at least I can picture people who are on the other side. 1 minute, and then you can go back to turning them off. You don't need to have them on all the time. But if you can turn your cameras on so that I can see you on the other side, say hello, Sebastian or Sebastian. Hello, thank you. Now I can put some faces. It's always nice. Who else? Rebecca, thank you. Welcome. Ilaria, thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks. I can picture a little bit more or less who's there. Who else is brave to turn on the camera for, if you can, if you cannot? Hello. Someone else there's to turn on the camera for some seconds so that I can see you. It's always nice. Hello, Anna. I know that face. Hi, Anna. Thanks for being here. Hello, Vedran. Hello, Gianluca.
Hello,
Hi.
Anna.
Thanks for showing up. If you don't feel comfortable with the cameras on, it's totally fine. I just wanted to, it's always nice to see who is behind. Okay, thank you, Gaia. The beautiful name, Earth, Gaia, beautiful. Meanwhile, Sarah or Katerina, I think you need to give me permit to share. I just realized. Make me a co-host. Hello, we have, hello, Francisco, hello, Maya, hello, Jule or Jule, hello, Bukola, hello, Diana, Anu, Gohar. Oh, let me turn off the notifications. Until tomorrow. Okay. Do not disturb. Hello, everyone. Okay.
Anna, you are supposed to be able to share.
Yeah. Thank you. You want me to start? You guide me with the timing, okay? When to start and everything?
We can start. 5 minutes.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm gonna share. There you go. There you go.
Okay, Anna, thank you very much. Everyone, welcome to our first webinar. We are going to present you DigiSkill project. As you can read, I believe most of you already know about this project. This is an Erasmus Plus project. It's a virtual exchange. And we in Portugal, with Czechia, Sweden, Uganda, Nigeria, and Ghana, we are together working to take the digital skills and intercultural communication to all the youngsters around us. And our main goal is to empower more than 2,500 young people with digital and intercultural communication skills. This is our main goal. And then we have a lot of others, but today we are here for one of the webinars across our partner countries. This morning, it was our 5th online dialogue, and we are counting with you for the 6th that is going to be on the 14th next month. And in a couple of months, the interactive open online courses will start. In the end of this webinar, we will talk to you about our second online webinar as well. So I hope to have you there waiting for it. This is our amazing partners that are here supporting us today. Thank you, guys. You are amazing. And now I'm going to give the word to Anna, if she's ready.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm a bit slow because sometimes technology needs more time than expected. Thank you. So today, we're going to be together for, I'm going to be talking, I'm going to making you participate for like around 1 hour. And then we can, if you can stay, we can have like a Q&A, talk questions, and I'm happy to help you as much as I can. I don't have all the answers, but this is also a collaborative space. So it will be nice to have this chat during the workshop and in the end, if you want to. Okay. My name is Anna. Very short introduction, because the important thing here is the topic. I've been working in internationalization of projects and in education for several years now. And one of the topics I work on is like intercultural competence. That would be one of my core fields of work. And one of it is like building CVs or applying for jobs, international jobs that we'll see. It doesn't only mean abroad, it can be an international job at home. Okay. And today we're going to focus on writing an international CV and preparing for an interview in English, which doesn't mean that it's with an English-speaking country, but we're going to see how some tools that can help us make it easier. I don't have all the answers. We are not going to see all the platforms in the world, because that's unlimited. Depending on the country you're applying to or the field or everything, you will have to look for different platforms, different job companies that like use the different websites and everything. But we're going to see how to start, how to have the previous documents ready for when that happens, because I know it's the most tedious part. Okay, so we're going to be together for 1 hour. Feel free to unmute yourselves, because I have a lot of windows here, so I probably won't see the chat if you're have a comment or something. So feel free, okay? Because I will try to ask you questions, and I'm gonna make you a bit dizzy because I'm gonna be changing screens all the time, and yeah, so be patient for that, but it's for a good reason, okay? Also, don't stress out. I am not going to share the presentation, the PDF, because I'm going to give you something better, okay? And I'll show you at the end. So hopefully you will stay and you can see what that, better than having a presentation out of context, is that hopefully I made it with the idea that it helps you in the future when you need different resources. Okay, so with that, feel free to interrupt, feel free to unmute your microphones, feel free to write in the chat, and hopefully I can see it sooner or later, okay? We will start with the CV in English, okay? What time is it? Yeah, okay. CV in English. First of all, okay? I have a question. It's like, what is your main challenge or difficulty when preparing your CV and or interview in English? Okay, it can be either or, it can be both. What is your main challenge, okay, when preparing your CV and or interview in English? With that, I'm gonna ask you to take your phones, okay, or with your computer, And if you have your phone, you scan your QR here, okay? And, or you can write menti.com and add that code on your computer. Okay. And write what challenges or difficulties you find or you face or you think you can have writing a CV in English or preparing for an interview. With your phones, if you have your phone, please scan the QR or just go to menti.com on your phone or your computer and write some words that are challenges or difficulties for you. Give me some clues there. I read the applications, but specifically, what are the challenges or difficulties you find when writing a CV in English or preparing an interview in English? Language. Right. Mm-hmm. Knowledge. Okay. Cultural barriers. Citizenship. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right words. To include. Okay. So we have cultural barriers, citizenship policies, language, what to include in CV, confidence, CV age or no age, it appears twice, organization of the CV, the right words, not to be predictable. Okay. I'm gonna leave like 30 more seconds. Tailoring to fit the job. Okay. 10 more seconds. Someone wants to add something. Okay, 5. Okay, nothing. Appealing expressions. Answer proper difficulties. How much do you want to earn? The question that not only in English speaking interviews you can face. The right words, age, CV, not to be tailoring. Okay. Perfect. Thanks. It helps a lot to see where we can focus a bit more. Okay. So with that, okay, we've seen your main challenges. And I wrote them down, so I'll try to go back to them when we are in the different phases. Okay, if I forget at the end, let me know. Okay, don't hesitate. You can unmute yourself in the end, or you can just write it in the chat. But please don't leave the workshop without asking. Okay, because I might have some tips, or maybe someone else went through that and has some tips to share with the rest too. Okay, thanks for that. So one thing we need to keep in mind is that one size does not fit all formats, okay? There's no magic clue for a CV, because if there were, it would be easy. Even nowadays we have ChatGPT, we have Gemini, we have a lot of tools where we could just write our experience and theoretically we would have a good CV, but maybe we realize that we need also the human part, because otherwise a CV is just words put together. So how do we make it when we want to apply for a specific job, okay? So some general tips here. Write a target resume for each position. One of the challenges were like how to tailor the CV. Here we have one job offer, we need one resume, okay? Of course, we can have some templates, one for nonprofits, for example, one for, I don't know, like if you want like a summer job or different type of CVs, but try to tailor it as much as you can to the offer and to the organization, okay? You can do that also. You can always use the help of artificial intelligence, but please make sure that you review it and that you put some soul into it. Because I can tell you, the person who receives the CV realizes when it's been scanned and sort of reviewed and changed and humanized or not. And it's much better not to be predictable, as someone wrote also, no? How not to be predictable is like, well, put things in your own style, okay? So one thing to take into account, don't have only a CV and send it like crazy everywhere, okay? Just try to tailor it as much as you can to the offer and to the organization. We'll see how later. Make it readable and attractive to the eye. It means don't try to put every single thing you did with description. Try to make it easy to read, thinking that a lot of people read it on the screen, okay? So just make it easy for the person who's reading it. Then we'll see about the picture, no picture, age, no age, all that, okay? Limit your resume CV to 1 page, if possible. Always 1 page. Sometimes it's difficult if you have more experience, and if you have a lot of experience or you have different experiences in different fields, okay, later on, or if you want to highlight some specific things, do it maximum 2. But if possible, 1, okay? Resumes look different depending on which part of the world you're located in or applying to. Writing a CV, I'm from Spain and I live in Spain, so writing a CV for a Spanish company that works locally is completely different to preparing a CV for a Spanish company or non-profit with an international mindset. Might work from Barcelona, but work with international partners, or if I am applying for a job in another country. So they look different, and you need to know what's going on in the field, country, or topic you want to start working in, okay? And here, what I'm trying to see is like, we're going to see examples of English-speaking countries and countries in the European Union, okay? Because the world is wide, there's a lot of realities, there's a lot of policies, and a lot of ways of presenting CVs. So these ones, the tendencies, the trends I'm showing today, are the trends of English-speaking countries plus European Union. Some other countries, they appreciate like the longer, the better, okay? Some countries like, okay, if you can present a CV of 15 pages, way better than 1 page. But that's why we need to know the reality and the context we are applying to, okay? It's one of the principles, like the first one of intercultural competence, take into account the context, your context and the context you wanna be in, okay? And try to adjust that. It might take longer, it might take some research, but it's worth it if you really want to get there. Okay, so far so good. Let me know. This is just the introduction. If there's anything you want to tell me, just let me know. Okay. So when we talk about international CV, what's the word? Curriculum or resume? What's the difference? Maybe you heard both. It's like, okay, what's the difference? How can I use it? Okay, very briefly. CV and resume refer to the same thing, but there are some differences in countries, okay? In the UK, it's always CV. If you're applying for a job, you want to do an internship, you want to go and work in the UK, it's always CV. In Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, and Europe, CV is more popular than resume, okay? You can find both, but CV, everyone will understand. However, if you say, okay, I want to go and study, apply for a scholarship in the US or Canada, and in the scholarship, they ask me for a CV, they will call it resume, because at a university level, a resume is the academic one, the one where you need to highlight more all the academic experience. Even though it maybe you only studied undergraduate, it's fine. Try to highlight a lot what you did, your skills, what you learned, if you did any change, if you participated in any exchange program or anything, okay? But it's called resume. That's the big difference. Maybe in the future, you will be able to use it. Resume is used to apply for all kinds of jobs, okay? And CV or curriculum vitae is used for positions in the academia. Okay, just slight different because you might see both in job platforms. General tips for a CV in English. I insist on in English because language puts a lot of connotation in how we see the world and how we present things. In Spanish, things need a lot more context, a lot more words than in English. In English, if you can use 1 word, don't use 4, okay? It's a very straightforward language, and use it. Because if you write a lot and you say more than they expect, they might think it's too redundant, okay? So in specific cases of a CV in English, try to keep it short. We'll learn a formula today. Maybe you already know it, okay? Less is more. In English, less is more. So maybe in your home country or where you're used to applying, or what you have learned is that you need to write a super long motivation letter, 1 full page, or in detail telling everything. But maybe in English, you need to say what you are useful for, what you can do, okay? Always looking at the future instead, not that much at the past. Include only useful information for the company or organization you are applying to. That means useful for them, not for you. Okay, for example, if you want to apply for a volunteer program, European Solidarity Corps or an EVS, just try to learn about the organization, okay? Try to read the offer. What do they want? What are they looking for? And use that information, not to lie, but to let them know about that part of you that maybe you don't usually tell, okay? That is an example of like a European Solidarity Corps or volunteer, but for a job, same thing. Maybe for you, it was very important to win I don't know, a contest in writing, but the job is in finance. So maybe you can write that you want that contest in writing, but you need to make sure that you highlight the things you can do for them, because they need to see that you are the person, a skilled person with knowledge or with the potential to learn, okay? That's very, very important also, not only what you know previously, but to show the potential you have. Depending on the experience you have, you can highlight more one thing, the other, and we'll see later how. Use action verbs. We'll see later what, let's see here, okay? Where is it? We have so many action verbs, okay? Here, you will have this resource too, and there's a lot of action verbs, okay? Write, build, improvise, craft. There's a lot of verbs that imply action, that you did something or that you can do something, okay? And you have examples here. We're not going to go into detail, but when we talk about action verbs, it means that you did something or that they led to something, okay? There was something going on there. Don't use very static or very, like, let's say, boring ones. You will have this, okay, to check, and how we can use AI to create more, to find synonyms in a language that it's probably not ours, okay? Because that's one thing. Most of us here are probably not English speakers, so we need to know how to get, oh, sorry, I'm getting you dizzy, yeah? I told you today I was gonna make you a bit dizzy, sorry about that. The presentation is here, there you go. Okay, so you will have a list of action verbs, okay, so that you can go and look for. You don't need to make them up, just use the tools that already exist to be able to focus in showing them that you are the person they need to hire, at least the person they want in the interview, okay? And make sure you check the specific rules, written and unwritten, of the country or institution you are applying to, okay? If you want to work in your own country, you more or less might know how. If you want to apply somewhere else, first try to do a little research, like what are the expectations on what type of CVs they want. They want a short one, they want a very detailed one, they want more visual, less, do they want a picture, not, all the things that are considered allowed or not in different countries. With the photo, okay? So let me know in the chat, okay? Just write yes or no if you add a photo in your CV. Just yes, no. That's enough. Someone says yes, yes, no, yes. Ooh, should do a poll here. No, yes. Oh, it's 50-50, I would say, yeah. Okay. So with the photo, it's always it's always not a mystery, but in some countries, pictures on CVs are not allowed, okay? In some countries, writing your full name is not allowed. So you write the initial of your given name and your surname, okay? In some countries, age, okay, writing your age or your birth year is not allowed. Why is it like that? to avoid discrimination, okay? To make the selection process as fair and equitable as possible, okay? If we put a picture, maybe the person who's selecting is biased, they have an unconscious bias or an open bias against X person, or they see the person is, for them, for their perspective, too old, too young, too what, too not enough, okay? Also, with the name, in some countries, you need to write your surnames or your initials, okay? And that's, I don't know what it is like in your country. In Spain, there's no rules for that. But I would advise you not to include your picture. But you can make it visual. Not adding a picture doesn't mean that you're not making it visual. The goal of the picture, in the end, is to help the person who is reading the CV remember that CV. Because we don't remember words, we remember faces and images easier. You can create your own logo with Canva. It's for free. You can create a logo with your favorite colors. You can create an avatar of you, like a serious one. You can create, like a drawing, something. You can use a lot of tools where you don't use your picture, but they can still remember you. You can use specific colors. For example, in my, let's say, not in my CV, in the academic, in the resume, I have a world map upside down and orange. So the person who sees my CV, they will not remember my face because my photo is not there. But they will remember maybe that they saw a map of the world that is upside down. And I also send a message with that. Okay, so that's my way of doing it. You can have a logo, you can have different colors, you can have something that represents you professionally. Okay, so that's my advice. Don't include a picture unless it specifically asks you to, which shouldn't be like that, but it still happens. And try to put something visual. Okay, work on the visuals of your CV. Name. The name, I write my full name. It depends on the country. That's why you need to learn. Where are you applying to? Okay, in some countries you don't write your name. You just write your surnames and then the initials. Okay, or the initials only. And with the age, something that you wrote. No, is the age. Should I write my CV, my age on my CV or not? In this case, I would say that it depends. On what it depends. There's a lot of European programs that say, okay, we're looking for a young person aged between 18 and 30. Then at the CV or at the motivation letter or in the form, you need to put your year of birth. But because there's a specific reason behind, the program per se is funded by the European Union probably, and they fund a specific age range. Then it makes sense because it's a criteria. I couldn't apply for an EBS or some other project because I'm more than 30. So if there's a reason, yes. If it's a regular CV that you're applying for a job, you don't need to. There's ways to find more or less how old a person is. Only if you put the age, you finish high school, if you're done with high school and then you started working in jobs, or if you finish university, there's a lot of ways to read it, and the person can see if they need a junior profile, if they need an intern, if it's a volunteer, if it's more a senior. Okay, so I would advise you not to write the age unless it's for a specific program that requires you to write the age. Okay, but the photo is always something. Also, it's to avoid discrimination. Okay, with a lot of phobias or a lot of prejudices that the people scanning the first part of the CV might have more or less aware. But look, this is a Europass. This is a European, the CV the European Union is promoting. And the first thing we see is a picture and also the date of birth, okay? So many times we are asked to do something by institutions that is not supposed to be like that to avoid discrimination, okay? In this case, if you have to, this is specifically usually for universities or for European projects. If it asks and it's going to benefit you, do it. Okay, it's very good, especially for you European institutions and universities. If you're doing an Erasmus Mundus or some European project, it's a Europass profile that may sometimes some organizations ask you to send if you want to participate in a project to be selected as a volunteer or with European funds. And also less and less, but still, EURES is the European Employment Services. Is like I don't know if I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to make it easy again, but it's worth it. Where is it opening here? Okay, it's the European Employment Services. Here you can put where you want to work. There's information about different countries of the European Union, job seekers. You can find a profile, find jobs, hints and tips. There's a lot. Create your Europass. There's templates to create a Europass. Okay, and this is good to see opportunities in Europe. I used it many years ago. Sometimes I would advise you to contact the company or the organization directly besides applying through EURES, okay? But it's a very good platform, and sometimes some grants or some funds, some programs ask you to do the candidacy through that platform, to that portal. At least have a look at it and see what's going on at European level in this giant services, employment services, okay? And probably your country has their own, and then maybe your region has a different one. Spain has the Spanish one, and then each region works a bit differently. So, but this is the basic. If you want to work abroad, they will ask you, they will send you here. So just go straight there before going to the employment service offices in your home country. And you also have here a template for the Europass, okay? You can download it and you can just fill it in with your data. This is very good, especially for juniors, let's say, for people without a lot of experience, because you can really here, like in detail, tell what's going on, what you have done, your skills, what you've learned, if you've participated in short trainings, or if you did a course, okay? You can highlight a lot of competencies besides your experience. That's what this Europass is good for, okay? Making sure you can show the world your value, which is a lot, regardless of the experience. And here we have, okay, real people applying for real jobs, okay? I have the permit for this. Those are real CVs. I have the permission of these two, from Keral and from Maureen, to share their CVs. Here, I cannot share them with you in the later on, but you can have a look here, okay? We have the CV of Keral. Keral did a process with me of like, she finished a training and she had 9 hours of one-to-one. So we worked a lot on what she wanted to do, the path and everything. And she created her CV with the goal of, she wanted to go and work in the UK because she's half British and so, and she managed, okay? And then she went to she created this CV and she found a job in the UK. And I asked, hey, you did a very good CV. Can I share it in training so that people can see a real CV of how someone who just finished university and was unemployed and did a short training, and how you presented yourself, how you presented your strength. And this is what Keral wrote. Okay, let me show you. I had it here somewhere, but okay. So that's Keral, okay? See, Keral at the beginning put a picture, and I said, think about the picture, because just think about it, okay? Is in the UK something you would do, something you would not? She was very confused because in Spain you find a lot of pictures on CVs, but in Spain, in the UK, you don't. So I made her start a small research, okay, just in internet, what type of CVs people had, and then she realized in the UK you don't put your picture, and then she, you have her name here. That's what she wanted. She wanted very neutral colors, and she decided she wanted to present herself as a psychologist with digital competencies. She decided after some work together that that's what she wanted to highlight. I'm a psychologist, I work hard for this, but also I want to keep working on these digital competencies because I'm good at it, and I think it's what makes me different. And what she did first is like, okay, write some presentation of yourself, some introduction. And what she did is like, okay, that's what I have, a psychology graduate. I developed skills in interpersonal communication and understanding human behavior that are essential for effective leadership. I have the ability to put people at ease to build strong relationships with others, while also being assertive about goals and deadlines. My scientific background and empirical approach have provided me with a strong foundation in analytical thinking and problem solving. She describes what she's good at or what she likes, what she thinks she can bring to the job. And at the end, it's like, what do I look for? What am I looking for? I seek a work environment that challenges me to expand upon my current skills and form lasting connections. Okay, she was looking for a job that allowed her to become a professional in the field. So she wrote specifically for that position. And then she wrote the education, training, some trainings she did, work experience, and digital competencies. Okay, you know, her work experience was one job. Okay, but she managed to show with this text how much she could give, because she highlighted a lot of things that were important for her, and then were probably going in the direction she wanted to go. Okay, and the language and background information. She decided to put female, okay, nationality, because it the nationality benefited her in this case. Okay, so it's also up to you always. It's also someone wrote like citizen policies, right? Why shall I write in my CV? Why shall I not? If you think it's going to benefit you, write your nationality, or write if you have a work permit or whatever. But do it in case you think it's going to benefit you. It's going to bring something. Otherwise, you don't need to do so. Okay, you're going to make the people think twice. What does she mean? Okay, so this is a one-page CV of someone who doesn't have much experience, but has a lot to give and can share a lot. Okay, so just it's an example. You will find a lot in Canva. If you enter in Canva, you can really see a lot of examples. And now we're going to see the one with Maureen Darcy. Maureen, she's from New York, okay, and she's an English, Spanish teacher, Spanish and French teacher, and she has a lot of experience. So her CV look, it's very different. You see, she has like very neutral colors, and she decides to put 2 pages, okay, because she has a lot of experience. So that's what she focuses on. Maureen Darcy, world language educator, very short description, but look, because she focuses on experience, like recent experience, and she writes the one that is more important to her in bullet points, okay? Have you seen how different? Carol decided to give more space to the description, describing her, what she wanted to do, her goals and everything. And Maureen says, no, I have a lot of experience, so I need to put that because that's my asset. That's what my strength, all my experience, okay? And that's what she did. Super clear, okay? Additional experience, specialties, presentations in the academia, a lot of professional development, because she knows what the market demands. So it's 2 different examples of very, very different profiles, but so that you see like real CVs and what you can look for also in Canva, because Canva has a lot of examples, but templates, but please modify them a little bit so that it's your unique thing. Use the tools, but then humanize them. For Keral, it's okay. There's an option here. You will have this. There's one option to write the about me, okay, like the profile, let's say. There's one that says focus on experience plus duties or skills, qualities, qualifications, or how you can help the company business. Okay, that's what Keral did. She's like, okay, here it says, I'm a nurse with 5 years experience providing quality care to a wide variety of patients. It's like, okay, this is what I do. Okay, presentation, first line. And then what are my qualifications? I possess a master's qualification and I want to do a doctorate. But then what can you offer to the company? Okay, how can you help them in what they're looking for? Aiming to leverage my experience and knowledge to effectively fill the nursing position at your hospital. Okay, so who I am, what I've done, what I want to do. Okay, this one works. It focuses on your professional goals and career path and how they match the company's goals. And it's ideal for people who have just graduated or with not a lot of professional experience, or if you want to shift careers, okay, because maybe for 5 years to do something and then it's like, no, I want to shift. So you can also, like, it allows that flexibility. Then we have another type of about me, which is the professional summary. It's like what Maureen did very briefly. So it highlights the most impressive achievements and skills, okay? And you can use it if you want, but yeah, in any case, but it's recommended for candidates with experience or with, regardless of if you have a university degree or not, okay? Because you can have a lot of experience in working customer field or organization or anything, okay? So highlight not only your task, but what are the skills, the competences related to those tasks? Okay, what did you learn? Are you detail-oriented? If you were doing a lot of, like, I don't know, working with databases, are you people-oriented if you were in a call center? So highlight that, because if you're people-oriented, you can do a lot of tasks, but you need to let the person reading the CV that you can do those. Okay, second step is, like the first step is sending the CV to be called for the interview, and then the interview, you need to convince them that, or they need to see you are the person, at least, to go to the finals, okay? So you will have this example too. Okay, I'm gonna skip it. I'm not gonna read it, so it's a bit faster. And then maybe some of you want to have an academic CV, curriculum vitae. Okay, here, there's a link also. You'll see, you'll have the link, and you can see how a graduate or a student CV, academic CV looks like, in case you want to apply to study in some countries where, like, European Union has some countries where studying, you don't pay tuition at university. Maybe the cost of living is expensive, but maybe you can apply for a grant. So how do I write a student CV? Okay, how different is it from a professional one or a job one? So you will have examples to do that too, okay? With or without experience, it's totally fine, okay? Because depending on where we're applying to, we can use one or the other. And here, you will also have this this link here. Let me see if I find it. Okay, here you have the example of the academic CV. Okay, how it works, some videos and everything, and how. Let me see. And you will also have. I will also give you this CV. Okay, this CV builder, because we need to use the tools that we have. But the world goes beyond ChatGPT. Okay, I'm saying because everyone is doing everything in ChatGPT without reviewing. There's other tools that also use artificial intelligence that are specialized in CV creators, and they are for free. At least you can do, like, I don't know, 10 CVs for free. Then if you want 12, maybe you have to pay, but at least to start, you don't have to spend money if you don't want to. If you want to, you have the money, go ahead. Okay, but here you can upload your current resume, and then it will tell you how to improve it, or you can build a new resume. And these websites usually work with English, so they will be able also to correct not only the orthographic mistakes, but maybe the grammar, rebuild the sentences, make it fresh, because you don't need to be uptight or need to have a very, very formal English, but let's try to make it as correct as possible, because it's always nice to read something that is grammatically correct, even though if it's not super advanced level. Okay, I'm not gonna leave the page just in case. I'm gonna go back here. A lot of information, I know, but sometimes we spend more time looking for the resources, and then we just need to have them to go straight to the point. Okay, so here you have another tool for free that you can use. So far, so good. No comments. I don't know if you're there, if you're following. I speak very fast, I know, but for the time we have, I want to give you as much as I can so you can go ahead and just go straight to the tools that you need and build your CV and go for it, okay? Use the tools you have nowadays. There's so many to correct the language and everything, okay? But try not to make it with an advanced level. If you are a medium, for example, because then they're gonna see it in the interview, okay? So try to be realistic and keep learning, of course, because we are practicing here for a CV in English in this case, okay? Then the ATS, okay? Technologies don't only bring things that help us, they also bring things that can be a bit annoying. Applicant tracking systems, okay? It means that when we send our CV, some companies, especially big ones, they use like a system that scans the words and looks for specific keywords that they put in the offer, okay? And we need to take that into account if we need to. I'm gonna leave you, okay, this video here. We're not gonna watch it because I prefer to have some conversation time. But this is a short, like a 4-minute video, and they explain how to create an ATS-friendly resume, okay? Basically, we need to take into account that what the ATS does is to scan your CV, the words, and compares it to the keywords they are looking for that are already in the job offer, okay? So read the job offers, find the keywords you can find them, or you can ask a tool to find them for you. Okay, this company also have like a tool that is for free to a point where you can do that comparison. Okay, does your CV contain these keywords or not? Okay, something you will learn with time, but at the beginning you can use that. What are the keywords? What are the words I need to include? Again, think what is useful and interesting for the organization you are applying to, okay? Or for, I don't know, the prepositions in English are always tricky. Or for the company you want to work for, okay? What do they want? What do they need? What can you give them? What is interesting that you have to give them, to offer? Okay, just keep that in mind all the time, because at the beginning we make mistakes. We all have made them. We keep making them. It's like insisting on the things that are super important and interesting for us. But if it's not what they're looking for, you will have time to show them once you're inside. Okay, we never lie. I'm not saying lying. I'm saying just highlighting our strength and the thing we have in common. Okay, if you meet someone, you go out at night, you like someone, and you start talking, and that person tells you, hey, I like to dance, and you like to dance too, you don't start saying, hey, I like to play soccer. Because if you find a conversation that you have in common, you try to build a conversation. Same thing for a CV. Okay, find what you have that you can give them. And maybe you don't have a specific knowledge, but you have all the attitudes and the skills and competences to learn that, because you are an agile learner. Make them see that too. Okay, a lot of information. You have this video, okay, and sorry, we're not gonna watch it. Okay, the ATS is the last thing. If you move yourself in the social field, you probably won't really need it. But in case in the future you move to a company or a larger, NGO or something, they might use it, because there's a lot of track systems nowadays that are the first scan before having the person. And last but not least of this first part, the CV, because we'll jump into the second part, which is the interview. Last but not least, take time to do some research, please, about the company, about the time of job, the type of job, about the country, in case it's in a different country. How do things work there? Do I know there? Like, I'm going to watch some videos. There's a lot of things. Just also be critical when choosing your sources, specifically videos and media. But fine, there's a lot of people that can give you a lot of tips to see what type of CV to send, and make sure you go through the first phase. One size does not fit all formats. Tailor your CV. Okay, have like 3 different templates, and then just make sure you take the time. It's tedious, but it's worth it, okay, to tailor your CV. Is your CV ATS friendly? Does it need to be? My CVs are not ATS friendly, but I need to know that's happening, and I choose not to do them ATS friendly. Okay, in the future I might have to, because everyone might go through that process. Okay, but at least I know that exists, and I need to take that into account to be able to choose. What's considered professional in one region might not be suitable for another country, region, or institution. When I first started working for universities, was completely lost, because the codes, the language was completely different story. So I had to learn. Sorry about the cough. Okay, so just make sure that maybe something. Years ago, I applied for a job in Uruguay, and I had this mindset of, 2-page CV. And my friend there told me, no, here you need to write a very long CV. The longer, the better. So I ended up writing a 15-page CV with a lot of like the short training, with a description, with all the tasks, explaining in detail what I had done. That would be unthinkable in Spain or in Europe in general. So I had to learn the context I was applying to. Create a solid job application. Take your time, okay? If you see an offer that you're really interested in, take your time, please. There's a deadline. Try to make it earlier, because if they have a lot of applicants, they might close the application. But please take your time and just make sure you book a couple of hours to make it fit, because then you will have to work on the motivation letter. But today we're not entering there, okay? Take into account that your resume is your first opportunity to communicate your skills and experiences to your future employer. So it's you somehow, okay? So they need to see with the CV plus the motivation letter or cover letter, okay, they need to see, it's like, hey, we need to see this person, because, you know, they know this person doesn't only match knowledge, skills, and experience, but maybe this person has only 30% of all what we ask for, because no one has 100%. Never believe when you see a job offer, no one has 100%. Maybe this person has 30%, but look, the potential. We want this person in the team. We want this person in the company. So you want to make sure you show that, okay? Your CV is a snapshot of who you are, your skills, your educational background, work experiences, and other achievements. Don't put everything there. If you have a website, if you have a LinkedIn profile, if you have some media that you've been working on professionally, then you add it there. So it's an annex. They can go there and keep seeing what you've done. Okay, so don't forget about that. Okay, this was the first part with the CV. We're gonna do the second one about the interview. It's shorter, and then at the end, we'll do question and answer, okay? Because if we open it now, it can take a long time. So I would rather do it all, and then in the end, if you have questions or you wanna share anything or any doubts, because I speak very fast, just feel free to share them. Like I'll be happy to. Ones who know me already know that I love doing that part. Look, Mira, look at the background. You know, this upside down map. This is the one I have in my CV, but in my CV it's orange, okay? To make sure they remember. And it's also a declaration of intention, no? How I see the world, how I invite people to see the world. So it says a lot already. For the interview, okay? If you made it to the interview, don't worry about your English level. Occupy yourself with culture. It means the English you know, okay? We should be working, in this case, on our English constantly. English, if you want to go and work in France with French, if you want to go Sweden with Swedish, you know, it's an example. It's because I'm centering it in English, which is the language we are using here, although it's probably not our native language, but the important thing is to write a good CV and a good motivation letter to go to the interview. And then in the interview, occupy yourself with culture. Culture is not only the culture of the country I want to work in, the culture of the country I'm living in, but also organizational culture. It means what type of organization I'm applying to, what type of company is it, what type of tendency do they have, okay? Are they informal, formal, everything, okay? So, really, the English level will not change in a week. You can practice some vocabulary, just keep working on it all the time. General tips for an interview in English with English speakers when we are not English speakers in this case, okay? So appearance, the importance of a first impression, okay? Is it in general a formal country per interviews or institution, or it's not the same doing an interview for a university or a corporation than for a small nonprofit? So first impression, okay? Communication is more than words. Look how much I'm moving my hands or my face, or there's a lot of things that I do that when I leave the road, I learned to control because I knew it wouldn't be a first impression and I was communicating more with my body than with my words. Beware of slang and informal language. Sometimes when English is not our formal language, we learn talking with young people or seeing movies. So what is accepted or not, okay? Just beware of that we might have a more informal English than we think, or the opposite. We just learn in school and then we don't know how to communicate slang with people our age. Make sure you check the specific rules of the country or institution you're having the interview with, okay? The same thing you did with the CV, with the interview. A little bit, some research. Don't get obsessed with that, just to know a little bit how it can go. Use action verbs and keywords when answering questions and talking about yourself. Of course, if they ask you about more personal insights or more reflection, no. But if they ask, what did you do? What did you do in the past in this situation or the other? Try to make them see what you did, okay? And the tool we have in interviews is words. And keys, okay? Keys, keep it short, simple, and slow. Okay, keep it short, simple, and slow. I speak very fast because I have 1 hour. I wanted to give you as much as I could, but I'm very aware that I might have made mistakes. I might have forgotten to say things. I have a script here, let's say I have my presentation, but you don't have a presentation generally if it's an in-person interview, okay? So keep it short, simple, and slow, okay? Also, because there's like 5 types of interviews, we're gonna see it very simply, very fastly, sorry. We have the face-to-face interview when we go somewhere in person, we sit at the table and we have 1, 2, 3 people there. We have the video, face-to-face video, more and more, the first interview might be in video, okay? Then we have an automated video review, okay? It's through a screen. So it's we're in different maybe times, and the people are in different places, and there's like some recording with the other person. It's not only we're talking, they use a tool to record, to guide you depending on your answer from one place to the other. Then there is the same thing, the automated video interview with AI assisted, okay? That depending on the answers, they take you one place, the other, or they keep asking different things. And then we have the same thing, completely AI, artificially intelligent led, okay? Again, it might not be your case because you are applying for a organization, volunteer, or first jobs, but with how everything is going, and if you apply in the future in big organizations, private companies or nonprofits, you might face some of these. So just knowing that it might happen, okay? Just to know. If we don't know it exists, we cannot know how to react to it. If we don't name it, it doesn't exist. So the idea here is like AI interviews are not very good at predicting personality traits from verbal and non-verbal behaviors extracted from videos. Okay, so we need to pay a lot of attention if it's a video to what we say, okay, and to keep it short, slow, and simple. Do not let AI judgment knock down your self-confidence prior to or during an interview. Okay, it's AI, okay, it might be new in an interview, but so what? No, I know what it can be. And making an impression means staying human. If we always answer what the machines wants to listen, usually companies don't want that. Okay, so again, you will have the different type. I will give you also an article so that if it's the case, you can prepare in the future, okay? So you can have all these tools. Okay, very quickly, in the chat, we have here modern words, and we have here, you see 3 percentages, 55, 7, 38%. And in interpersonal communication, so it means talking not here, because here I'm trying to send a message, but when we're talking to a friend, when we meet someone new, when we are trying to know that person a bit better, we try to express a message, right? That's interpersonal communication, when we just talk to someone, explain something. In the chat, please write, of the 3 percentages, 55, 7, 38, how much do you think spoken words are? Voice and tone and body language, okay? In this, how much we communicate with each of these. So for example, how much do you think we communicate in spoken words? Spoken words represent 7%, 38%, or 58%, 55% of what we communicate in interpersonal communication. Please use the chat. 7%, okay, words. Sebastian said that it's 7%. Well, I want to see you're there. Come on. Spoken words or written, eh? Spoken means written words, or when we use some written language. 7%. Daniela says 7% too. Okay, we'll see. And what percentage would you say voice and tone is? The voice, you know, if we like a voice or if we don't, depending on the voice and the tone. If someone speaks like this, I have a very loud tone, and I need to know that. So how much is that? 55. Ooh, here we have Daniela says 38. Sebastian says 55%. Where are the others? Katarina, 38. Gianluca. Okay, 38%. And then we see the body language. We don't know the answer yet. Body language. How much do we communicate with our body language? Because we got 38, Daniel said 55, 38. Okay, we'll be between those two. Okay, you agreed that words express 7%. Look, in interpersonal, yeah, see some 55. Okay. In interpersonal communication, it means, not in this case, because here it's right now it's unidirectional. I'm trying to give a message and I have a lot of tools behind. But when I'm talking to someone, 7% of what I communicate is verbal language, so words I use, okay? 38% is the paraverbal language, the voice, the tone, and 55% is the body language. For example, if I'm here, I'm saying, I'm enjoying this session so much. The words are one thing, the tone is another thing, and the body expression is another. What did you believe? I cannot see your faces. Maybe some of you laughed, is like, what is she doing? But you probably got that what I was saying is not what I was feeling, right? And still we were using the words. So we need to take that into account. With machines, it's not interpersonal communication. We have a machine that is doing an AI interview, but when we have a person in front, we can express a lot of our willingness to work, our like energy, and our everything. Being aware that we can do it a lot or not enough, okay? Too much or not enough. So we need to be aware. We need to have self-awareness, okay? Not only of our knowledge, but what do we express? How do other people read us? Okay, so it's also very, very important, and we forget about this very often. You don't need to go to any guru. There's a lot of like small exercises you can do and practice, okay? Because look, here's intercultural communication. That's what we learn at school. We have the source, the message, the channel, the receiver. But what we don't learn is that we have a context, okay? And if you're looking to apply for a job abroad or in an international organization or company, you need to take the context especially into account. Again, what are the expectations in this country? How do they do the CVs? It's like, how do they send them? It's like formal, informal. How does it work in that specific context? In that country, I want a nonprofit. How do they work? How does it work there? Okay, research. It's also distorted by cultural noise. There's things we don't understand, okay? Especially if we are working abroad, or if we already live abroad and applying for jobs, or we are trying to do this intercultural thing. So we need to learn a little bit. We have cultural awareness of in this case, the country, but also the organization we want to apply to, okay? We want to start working for. And then, if possible, effective feedback, okay? If we are not selected for a job, maybe we can ask the person in an email, hey, thanks for the interview. Can you help me? Could you please give me some feedback so that I can improve in the future, because I'm really interested. And that person will see that there's interest, and you will learn for a future interview. Usually, if you get to the final, the person will be able and willing to give you that feedback, and it's very nice. People appreciate it when you ask for that, okay? So don't hesitate to do that. Because when we're working with different cultures, national, regional, organizational, okay, we need to be aware of what's going on the other side. Also, what kind of country or what kind of culture are we used to when it comes to communication, okay? Do we sound very direct in another culture? Do we just sort of go run and say the same thing 4 times like I'm doing in this presentation, or how does it work? Okay, we need to learn what type of communication generally a culture has. Again, learn a little bit about the culture. Here, for example, I leave you this, right? Because I'm here as Spain, let's say as a country, it's here. It can give us some clues. And we might have some students, some people from Spain and some from Portugal. It's not here, but it's in the tool. Okay, I don't know, different. The Netherlands. Okay, so in this case that we are trying to go to an English-speaking country, let's say, focus, or English is the common thread here. Look, if we're communicating with people from those countries, keep it short, simple, and slow. Okay. Just try to keep that in mind, because we need to see how to communicate better, always taking into account the context. Okay, what is more accepted and easier to understand in other cultures. I'm gonna skip this because we don't have time, but there's a tool. It's a paying tool, so you don't need to buy it, but I really recommend this book that is called The Culture Map, that you can get online, PDF. if you search a little bit, browse a little bit in the internet, and it's in different languages. And Erin Meyer has been working for many years in corporates, but she does a good job doing this intercultural communication, explaining different situations that she found through the years. She developed her own method, her own tools, and it's really worth it. It's very easy to read, very easy to understand, and it will help you understand what can happen if you move to a different country. What are the expectations of people who read your CV or will interview you in another country? Okay, so I really recommend that on paper, or you just browse a little bit and you'll find it easily online. Okay, because we need to know a little bit without entering prejudices and stereotypes. We need to learn what's the common ground there. What's the frame of reference of friends, of the Netherlands, of the UK, knowing that there's always differences in groups, in individuals, and that we have our individual value, okay? But taking that into account. Sorry about that. Oh, we're almost done, huh? I wanted to show you the tool, but we don't have time, so I want to give space for the conversation. Okay. One of the things someone also said in the word clouds, like how to answer questions, something like that. Okay, in interviews we have in English, in interviews in English or at home. We can go to a company 2 blocks away from our home in our own language, and the question might be uncomfortable the same. We don't have time to see the answers, but I'll show you where you can find them. But for example, we have general questions about, tell us about yourself. Okay, so you need to prepare something. What do you want to show them? What do you want to tell them about yourself? You're going to tell them that yesterday night you went and have like some drinks with your friends and that you really like to go out? Or maybe you want to tell them that you have a lot of interest in learning about other cultures and learning about, I don't know, like biology, and that you really want to work on sustainability because you think that's the future. Okay, so what do you want to tell them about? You need to practice and think about that. Explain your strength. We never lie. Lying is not an option, but we can highlight the strength. We need to choose what we want to focus on, okay? Because otherwise, if you don't choose, they will choose. So in your interview, you want to choose what they see. They will know you, and they will know all the other aspects of you that are great, but in the interview, they need to see is like, hey, we like this person as a whole. The person plus everything that person brings, plus everything that person can bring, okay? What are your weaknesses? Okay, less and less they ask it, but some traditional, they do. If they don't, you also need to know them to say, okay, I'm working on, sometimes I want to get things done, but I'm working on it. And because I want to improve things and bring quality. So I'm learning to take my time to do things. Okay, so take it in, just dale la vuelta. Okay, just turn it around and make a weakness a strength. You need to know them. If they don't ask, you don't share them, but you need to know them. Why should we hire you? Okay, then you need to know. You already read about the company, you read about the job offer, you wrote the application knowing that, you wrote the motivation letter, you should be able to answer to that. Maybe you need to work on your confidence too, that I don't know, but it's something that you will gain with practice. And take as many options as you have online, in person, to practice that. There's a lot of workshops online and everything that are funded by European Union to practice that. Go take them and just expose yourself in English or in your native language. What salary do you expect to earn? Okay, what shall I answer to that? Okay. What else? Specific questions for an international job. Okay. What international experience do you have? Maybe you never lived abroad. Maybe you've participated in these seminars, in these webinars. Maybe you participate in language exchanges every time you can. Maybe you go to presentations online or in person. Highlight all those things. Being international doesn't mean traveling or living abroad or having lived abroad. No, international is also mindset. It's a way to see the world from a wider perspective, a wider mindset, and being able to bring more. Okay, so keep that in mind. Not everyone has a chance to travel, to live abroad. It's totally fine. You can be more international than someone who lived abroad and didn't really learn that much. Okay, that's also something. Or you can have lived abroad and be very international, but just, it's not exclusive, okay? Have you worked with a team of people from different cultural backgrounds? have you probably, if we think in our school, maybe high school, university, projects, company, summer jobs, okay? So I'm sure you can bring something. Elderly people, that's also cultural background, intergenerational, okay? So bring that up. What key skills and experience can you bring to this role? Okay, you need to know your strength. It's the same thing, okay? So try to put them very clearly on the table. Are you willing to relocate? Okay, maybe they want to send you abroad. Maybe you want to go abroad, or maybe not. Look, here in this link that you will have, okay, you have 10 tips to succeed in a job interview in English. It's just tips. There's way more. You can start with this article and then look for more, okay? But be ready for uncomfortable questions in an international interview, in a local interview, okay? And do you have any questions? We never ask questions. Please have questions ready in an interview, okay? Because it means you're interested. It's like, hey, is it a new job? Was there anyone before? Or is there any chance, do you think I could, I don't know, what do you think? What type of personality like you have? Try to find at least one question because it shows interest, okay? They see that you are interested in the job. Then take into account the context, what country I'm applying to, what country am I at, that is mine, not mine, what type of organization, what type of institution, okay? Keywords, go through them. You have already done it before. So go through them before the interview. You don't need to study, you need to be a machine, but you need to know the keywords, okay? We'll leave this one for our workshop next month, okay? And we have here a woman that says culture, what culture? And we have a fish here that says water, what water? We are not thinking about cultural aspects all the time, but it's good to stop and think about them, to bring our strength, to put them on the table, right? Because maybe we are very culturally competent, interculturally competent. Maybe we have a lot of knowledge about cultural self-awareness, culture-specific knowledge of our culture, the culture of the country, the region, the organization, type of organization we want to work in. Okay, for example, I've worked a lot at universities, and now I work a lot with universities too. And then I know their language. I need to make them know that I know their culture, regardless of the part of the world they are. I know how universities work. I know how nonprofits work, and I love those are my two fields. But they know I understand their needs and how they work. So that's also cultural knowledge, okay? Besides, but I know myself too. So it's a never-ending process, okay? And it's positive. You can also have social linguistic awareness. In this case, we're talking about English, but where do you want to work, okay? What's going on? Grasp of global issues and trends, okay? It's also important, especially if we're in the social educational field. Skills, listening, observing, evaluating, using patience and perseverance, viewing the world with others' perspective, having empathy. And to me, the most important attitudes, respect, openness, withholding judgment, curiosity, discovery, okay? If we have those attitudes, we can open the door to knowledge and skills, okay? In this like international setting, regardless if you move abroad or not, but also in life, okay? With our neighbor, with our family, with everything. And this intercultural competence is not only about living abroad, it's about being aware of a lot of things and putting learnings on the table that would make it easier for you to be able to work in a different place and to gain positions, okay? Awareness brings a lot of positive things, okay? So all this we saw today is part of this intercultural competence that I invite you to put on the table and start recognizing as a value that you might already have just for the fact of having been here or being here today. It says a lot. So put that on the table, put that on your CV, and put that also on your on the interviews. Bring that up besides all the other things you have to bring. Okay. So last but not least, I'm about to finish. I see. Okay. Okay, check the keywords. What considered professional in your country, region, or institution might not suitable for other places. Do some research, the keywords. The more you know yourself, the better the interview will go. Okay. And let me show you, this is what you will have. Okay, that's a, let me see here. I will send you this Padlet here with all the resources for the interview and for the the CV and for the interview. You will have this, okay? You can keep this, probably will never delete it, but you have a lot of different resources here. Okay. And with that, I see a message that I haven't read, but I think I need to stop talking. And with that, we've seen a lot of information to do your CV in English with this international setting, and also to prepare for your interview. Okay, I have talked a lot. So now with that, before closing and going to other topics that we want to remind you, I want to ask you if you have any questions, any doubts, if there's something that was not clear, it's like, yeah, you said you would talk about this, I was expecting this, and I want to learn more, so feel free to share it now. I really like this last part. Thanks, Daniela. I think, Katerina, we have like a couple of minutes for this. We're supposed to finish at 9:30, right? Just checking the time. Because we have a couple of things for sure that we need to ask you before.
It was supposed to finish at 8. But take your time, and we just need to do the evaluation and to promote the next topic.
Let's do one thing. Okay, let's do the evaluation first to make sure I'm going to share with you right now. Okay, give me a sec. Don't leave. Don't leave, please. My computer decided to go slow, but I'm looking for the evaluation. There you go. Give me a second. Don't leave. Okay. I'm going to share. There you go. I'm going to share in the chat. Okay. A short evaluation that will help Spin and also me to improve, to know if the session worked, didn't work, and to improve. So please, let's take a couple of minutes. I shared in the chat the form. Okay, it's very short, very simple one. Will take a couple of minutes. Okay. Just use an emoticon when you're done in the presentation. Just raise a hand or a heart or whatever. It's very important that you do it now, because otherwise life goes on. Okay, I start seeing smileys. Thank you. That helps us know a bit more. Thanks. See a couple of thumbs. Thank you. Perfect. We'll take a couple more minutes. While you're finishing the evaluation, and before we can stay here for the ones who have questions, I just want to remind you that next month, if you want to, in a month exactly, well, in 1 month, on the October 22nd,
yeah, in a month.
You want to introduce Katerina, or shall I? It's up to you.
You are going good. Keep going.
Perfect. So if you want to, we can see each other in a month, and I will stick to the 1 hour. Okay. 1 time, 3 time zone, 1 team, 3 time zone, 5 native language, 10 people. Learn how to manage effective and diverse online meetings in an intercultural organizations, okay? Again, there's no magic tricks, but we can learn and have resources and tools and gain awareness of how to do it, okay? So if you want to, you have the link also in the, they just left it, Spin just left it here in the chat. You're more than welcome to register. It's again for free. It will be 1 hour, okay? I will let you go and have your dinner on time, and you can always attend, okay? I'll be facilitating it too, so you're more than welcome. Okay. So meanwhile, with the screen sharing and while you finish the presentation, I want to ask you, someone has any questions, any doubts, you can stay here. Okay, I really thank you for being here today. You could see I like the topic because I realized how late it was. I hope you gain some useful tools, resources, or insights about how to write your CV in English, that sometimes we occupy a lot with like a lot of specific things and so, and we need to have a wider, more holistic view to go into detail. And now you have the tools that allows you to do that. Okay. So yeah, just encouraging that at the beginning, it's not easy. It might seem like a ton of work.
The angle, it's an exit wound. The bullet passes right between his knees. I mean, what else is it? If it's something else, I'll come back and I'll apologize. I'll be like, hey, I had it all wrong. But from my experience, and I've seen paper trails as a sniper, I know what bullets look like in the air. I can see a bullet going downrange and hitting its target. It has to be, it generally has to be the right environment. But
okay, I think, yeah, I couldn't, sorry about that, I couldn't mute. Okay, I think it was not a comment about the the workshop. So do you have any questions, any doubts?
Hello, Anna, I have one.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Okay. I am Sebastian. Thanks for the presentation, and I have a question regarding to my experience, my personal experience. I am Colombian, and I study there in Europe on the last year. I did my master degree there, and I applied for, I don't know, maybe 150 job offers, and I just got one interview. And so my question is more like, if you think the citizenship, it's a big, I don't know, problem for the companies, or is something like that, because to me, it doesn't make sense what happened with me and with my other colleagues, because almost anybody got a job in Europe.
Okay. Okay, thanks for sharing your experience, Sebastian. So in Spain, like you're talking about, you applied for jobs in Spain?
No, I applied for jobs everywhere in Europe, basically.
Okay. So I would say that I would say, yeah, I don't know, because I don't know the specifics, but it has to do more with the work permit, that I don't know if you have it or not, and you don't need to share it if you don't want to, but I mean, it has to do more with the work permit than sometimes with nationalities. I don't know the field either, but citizenship, of course, for some companies, they might have this like criteria or not, but in general, it might be about the work permit, because otherwise, depending on the type of, if you have already a work permit or not, if the company needs to fill in more documents or not, that can be a bit, it can be a backlash for the companies. Okay, so in that case, I would advise you to check if you have a work permit or not, and how you put it in the interview, right? Because sometimes citizenship, if you have the work permits and everything, it's not, and depending on what type of visa you had, if you studied in Europe and everything, if you are already there, you know, it's a different type of process. So just, I would, in this case, I would talk, depending on the situation, I would talk to a lawyer or someone who can guide you in more the specifics of what are the processes, because citizenship shouldn't be a problem if you have the work permit. Okay.
Yes, I have noticed that actually in the formats that you have to fulfill, because sometimes the companies ask you for that.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't have a work permit. I am actually here in my home country because, as I told you, I couldn't find any job.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes that's one of the things, regardless of the citizenship. If we put, so for example, I'm in Spain and I'm looking for a job, I don't know, in Canada, right? Companies are very reluctant to even like go to the second phase of applicants unless they are where I want them to be, or unless they are like a top profile, like a very specific type of professionals that I cannot find in my country. So the same thing applies. If you're somewhere, let's find a way to say, the thing is that in this case, I don't think it's nationality, it's that you are in a different continent even, okay? So even within Europe, sometimes some people, you know, if you're looking for a job, you're living in Spain and you're looking for a job in Germany, somehow you put like that you are in Germany, because you can take a plane and go there if you have an interview, but it's more difficult to do if you're in a different continent. So in that case, I know companies are reluctant to go through first phases unless you have a very, very specific profile that they are looking for.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much for your explanation.
Yeah, that should be, you know, it's case by case in this case, but yeah, it's always, if you want to find a job somewhere and there's a way to put a phone there or contact there where they can say, yeah, sure, I'll be there on Monday. If you have the chance, yeah, it's easier that way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Sebastian. Good luck in your search. One last question. And then we'll leave because it's almost, I'm stealing 30 minutes of your time. Okay, I'll do, okay. With a hand when I reach one, I'll say thank you and goodbye, okay? Okay. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it a lot. Remember to do the evaluation and to register for the next one if you want to. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you had useful information. Okay, I will give the resources to Spin so that you can all have them and use them in the future or in nowadays if you need to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope to see you soon in the next one. Don't forget to fill the evaluation form and to apply for the next one.
1 hour next time. I will keep that in track.
It was great.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much.
I was convinced it was like 90 minutes all over, so sorry about that, but I hope.
Don't worry. Usually it's 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And then it's more, yeah, and then it's the questions and answers and the introduction and everything. It's more half an hour, but if you want, you can extend like for 45.
I'll do it the next one. I'll do more conversational. Don't worry, I'll do 30 minutes and more conversational.
The next one is easier as well to short it up. So
yeah, because with this one shorten up is like
yeah. It was great, Anna. Thank you very much. Daniela sent you a huge hug because she had to leave. She sent you a huge hug and she said it was awesome as always. So see you next month, Anna. Anything, call me and I'll keep you posted about evaluation and the next one.
Perfect. I'll send
you. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.
Perfect. Thank you.